My name is Galay Koenig, and I am a TOSA in the Innovation and Learner Engagement Department. I'm very excited that all of you guys are here, and I appreciate your time, and hopefully you guys will learn to appreciate the value of Pear Deck and all of the wonderful things that we can do with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So I already introduced myself. All right, so really quickly, if you guys wouldn't mind telling me very quickly in the chat, how often are you guys using Pear Deck? So just quickly, just tell me daily, weekly, monthly, never. Okay, someone said I don't. Okay, very good. Thank you guys for those of you that participated. And I see that you guys, some of you are using it, but hopefully after today, this inspires you guys to go ahead and dive in and use this a little bit more. So our objectives today are really to learn how to harness the power of Google Slides with the Pear Deck add-on. Today I'm going to give you guys a chance to experience it as a student so that you understand what it looks like when you're providing it to your students. But then I also am going to share with you what it's like to use a student paste versus an instructor paste. And then I'm going to give you guys some time to create your own. So let's go ahead and get started. So as always, all of our PDs are connected to everything that we're doing here in the district. And I'm sure that most of you guys have seen our big 3+4 that Ms. Hill has incorporated in with us. And Pear Deck is also one of these great tools that can provide many of the 3 and 4 that she's actually implemented with us. There's a lot of independent work. There's a lot of higher level thinking. There's a perfect opportunity for on-the-spot intervention, and that's probably one of the greatest connections to Ms. Hill's 4+3. All right, then we're going to take a look at what is Pear Deck. I'm going to show you the student experience. We'll talk about the 5 different question types. I'll show you about the templates, and then you guys will go ahead and be able to start a Pear Deck. All right, so let's begin by identifying exactly what Pear Deck is. And here is a very short video that I will share with you guys. That at any time, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to raise your hands or post something into the chat. All questions are important, and who knows, you might be helping someone else that has the same question as well. All right, so now that you guys have had an opportunity to see exactly what Pear Deck is, this is a really great tool, obviously, as it showed in the video, about student engagement. But the power behind Pear Deck is so much more. It really gives many opportunities to our ELD students, as well as students who may be learning special ed students, but the engagement piece and the ability to collaborate and use those 4 C's is another great tool or opportunity using Pear Deck with Google Slides. So what I want to do is I want to start by giving you guys the Pear Deck student experience. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys go to joinpd.com. I'll go ahead and put this here in the chat. And you guys are going to join my Pear Deck session as if you were a student. Pear Deck, this is what it would look like. You're in your Google Slides. And you're going to go here and you're going to click on extensions, and we're going to open the Pear Deck. So now I'm going to start this session, and I'm going to make this session instructor pace. And we're going to go through all of this later, but I just wanted to sort of model it live for you. Okay, I'm going to start the session. Instructor paste. For you that were able to go to the joinpd.com, it's going to ask you for a code, and this is the code that you're going to enter. I'm not sure if you guys can see it or not, but another great thing about this is that Pear Deck gives you a teacher dashboard. So you will be able to see what your students are engaging, or if the students are engaging with your slides as you're running the session. But as you can see, if you notice down here at the bottom, I'll zoom in a little bit, you can see that it shows me how many people are joining. And one other thing, please note, it says here, start the class. So for those of you that have joined, you can see that it probably has like a welcome page on there, and you're not able to access the slides until you as the teacher officially starts the class. One other thing I will note is that if you didn't want to do this instantaneously with the students, you do have the option to giving them a link, and then you can put it into your Google Classroom. So if it was something that you wanted them to do independently, you could assign it as a lesson and include it in your in your Google Classroom, sorry. All right, so if you will notice down at the bottom, it is asking you guys to interact with the slide. So it's asking you guys, how much do you know about Pear Deck? All right, so you should be given some options, and go ahead and take a look at that. It's a multiple choice question. So as I mentioned before, there was that teacher dashboard. So this is you guys responding in real time to the question that's on the slide. So as the teacher, you have the ability to do those quick dipsticks and say, A, who is participating? And B, if they are participating, if this is a wrong or right answer, who's getting it correctly. This is also great to begin a lesson if you were going to do or begin your day doing an SEL check-in. Might give you a quick dipstick of how your kids are doing. So multiple choice is a great option, especially if you teach younger students. If you wanted to utilize Pear Deck, this is a great tool to use. And if you notice, you guys weren't able to click through because it is on instructor pace. So something that we're going to talk about today is that there are two different types. One is the instructor pace, which you are experiencing currently, and the other one is Sorry, I said that backwards. This is instructor paced, which means the students cannot progress unless you allow them to. If it is in student pace, they can work on their own. All right, so this one is known as the drop and drag. So go ahead and drag your option at the bottom to cover the adverbs in each of the sentences. Now, something I want to show you pretty quickly here is that some of you guys, or most of you guys, probably can't interact with the slides right now. Another one of the great tools is that you can lock the screen. So right now I've locked the screen, and if I wanted to get my students' attention, this is a chance I could do a quick, I forgot to give you these directions. And so you can lock the screen, and they won't be able to re-engage with it until you go back and open it back up again. So that's another great, powerful tool in using Pear Deck. So I just wanted to share that with you guys too. Something else I will mention is that you can see that this is looking glasses and they're color coded. You can change what icon you want them to drag. You can change the color of the icons that you want them to be. So there is a lot of customization in all of these types of questions. Okay, so now let's dive into some math. How many jelly beans can fit in this mason jar? So this is another one of the question types. It's an estimation. And then how did you decide on that number? So now we're going to just short answer response. And this is great because now they have to explain their thinking. Something else to note is that these answers are completely anonymous. So if you decided to display the responses for your students, there will be no shame to anyone because they are completely anonymous. All right, this one is always my favorite. So this is the drawing tool, and this is great at any age level. It can be used in so many different ways. But go ahead and draw a picture of a dog playing the violin with a pineapple body. And please note, these are not my ideas. These came directly from Pear Deck. So have fun, take a few minutes. Also dive into the different options you can see when using the drawing tool. Can't draw, I love that. So they are anonymous to you as well, or can you just display the students? Okay, that's a great question. So actually we can see who it is, and I will share that with you when we get to the teacher dashboard. Great question. You as the teacher can see who it is, but when we do share them, the students can't see. Great question. One other thing I wanted to note is if you notice in the teacher display, when I'm showing the responses, there's different ways I could do it. I could list them individually and you can zoom in and see the slides. Or over here to the side, there's the grid view, which allows me to see all of the responses at once. The final option, which is here, is the overlaid. And that is, let's say we were using something on a map or something and we wanted to check the answers to see if they were all correct. You could do this and it would merge all the responses. So this feature is really only used with certain question types. Let's move on to the next tool. So here's that example. I'll show you that in a second. So here is a map. If you guys can go ahead and take that flag icon and show us where Algeria is. And no shame, because I had to look it up too. Sorry, I was muted. What I was trying to say is I went ahead and I clicked it over to show the overlay, so you can see where primarily everyone is laying their flag and the different options. And again, if I wanted to see the individual options, I would click this or here. So very good, yeah. So the concentrated area of Algeria is up here, very good. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, so this is a drag. So go ahead and let me know. Are you guys ready to move on or not? So this is another option. Again, the dots are completely customizable. So if you wanted it to be something different, you have the ability to do that. Perfect. Looks like everybody's ready to move on. Very good. So as I mentioned, what you just experienced was Pear Deck in a teacher instructed. So that meant that, you know, again, students can't move on until I move the slides on. So the great thing about Pear Deck is that you can change that immediately. So it's not like if you created your Pear Deck in teacher pace that it has to stay that way the entire time. You have the ability on the fly to switch that. And all you do is you click the three dots at the bottom, and then all we're going to do is we're going to switch it. So something else I will mention is that you can add new prompts right on the fly. So it's down at the bottom there. And these are great because these are templates that are there, but you can customize those. So let's say you're doing a Pear Deck with your kids and you're like, oh, I forgot to add something, or based upon responses, you're like, oh, I want to add additional questions. You just click add a new prompt, and then you could go in and add it and then customize it and change the question. So right here where it says turn on student paste, I'm just going to click that. It's going to give me this message. Are you sure this is what you want to do? And I say, okay. So now you guys have the ability to go through the rest of the slides. I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes to go through these slides on your own. I will be here, so if you have questions as you go through, but otherwise please take the time and go ahead and go through and enjoy Pear Deck as a student. So someone had asked, hey, I lost the code and how do I get it back? Something else I will note is that if you look up at the top of the screen, that ZUUFWU, that is actually the code for them to join. So if that does happen for your students, it is visible to them at all times. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all learning what it is. Great question, by the way. We'll go ahead and move on now and get started with really, how do we do this on our own? Create a Pear Deck. There are a couple of different ways that you can do it. One thing I'm going to start by explaining is that there is the Pear Deck add-on, which is located in the Google Slides, which I'm going to show you right here. But there is also a separate website where you can create lessons and you can go back and find previous sessions. So I will share that with you also. But the quickest, easiest way to do it is to go into Google Slides, click on add-ons, and then go to Pear Deck. So if you guys want to model this live, I'm going to do that with you guys now. So if you guys have an existing an existing set of slides that you might be interested in turning into a Pear Deck opportunity, feel free to open that in another tab and you can walk through that as I do it as well. So I'll give you guys a couple moments to go ahead and find one. All right, so here is the set of slides that I used when I taught summer school a few years ago. And so if I wanted to take my existing slides and turn them into a Pear Deck, what I would do is I would go here to extensions, and I will zoom in so you guys can see that. I'd click on extensions, and then I would go right here where it says Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on. So because I already have that, I'm just going to click on open. Now, for those of you, oops, obviously zoomed in way too much. For those of you that may not have that, let me share this tab with you. If you do not have the add-on, all you have to do is click right here where it says Get Add-ons. And then you're going to type in Pear Deck, and it should be one of the first, it should pop up right away because that's the only option. And then you can add that as an extension immediately into your Google Slides. Okay, so to save time, I'm going to share this one instead. This is exactly what you guys just did. So as you can see, once you click on the Pear Deck option here, after you clicked on the extensions, you get this option over here to the side where it says Start a Lesson. But this is really where the power comes in, because this really shows you the different types of questions that you can choose from. There's the text, the multiple choice, the number. You can embed a website, you can drag, and then you can do the drawings. So what you would do is, depending on the question that you would want, you simply click on that, and then there's going to be a bar that appears at the bottom. So go ahead and click on one of those. If you guys had the opportunity to open your own slide deck, go ahead and click on one of them and take a look at what happens at the bottom. So if I wanted to turn this lesson into, let's say, for example, when we're talking about the word friction, and I want my students to go ahead and use it in a sentence. So in using the Pear Deck add-on, then what I would do is I would just pick right here where it says text. If I click on that, it's now opening it up as a Pear Deck. And if you notice here on the bottom, it says your students' responses. And as you experienced as a student, they will be prompted with a question that you will ask them, and then they can type into that box. Now let's say I make a mistake and I say, oh, you know what? I don't want that. I want them to actually draw a picture instead of giving me a text response. All I have to do is click on the bar. And when you get the blue lines around the edge, you just hit delete. And that's how you change the type of question that you would ask them. So let's say now I want to turn it into a drawing. And you notice it's engaging with it. And then here is now the draw option for this one as well. And then what you can do is, now another thing to note is you don't have to have this on every single one of your slides. It could just be on a few of them, or it could be on every one of them. It's up to you, whatever you prefer. Now, let's say, for example, you don't have an existing Pear Deck and you are, an existing slide and you want to add one on. There are some really great options in here, which is the template library. So if you click on that, and let's say you just wanted to add something very quick and simple to start the lesson off, you could go right here where it talks about our beginning the lesson. And here are those templates that I mentioned before that you could add in. Same thing, here's some other ideas during the lesson at the end of the lesson. And then here's some of these really great SEL lessons that can be added as well. So if you wanted to just put that anywhere in, how are you feeling today, or what do you think about a topic? You would just click on that. It's really thinking hard today. Sorry. And then you notice that it just added it in there for me, and then I can change the question. So, how do you feel? What do you think? Anything like that. So, tell me something, I don't know. What is your favorite, can't type today, animal? So you can see how quickly you can customize that and throw that in there and gather that information for your students. And again, here's a bunch of different options. There's not just one or two. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go ahead and play with this and add these in. I'll give you guys about 5 minutes. And again, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to unmute or raise your hand. Okay, so that's a great question, Claire. You were asking blocked with premium. So we do have premium accounts, so it should not be blocked. If you have not yet gone in to Pear Deck, the website, and activated your account, that could be potentially why it's being blocked. But let me, I'll walk you through that in just a second. Give you guys a little bit of time to explore so that I can show everyone where we access that information. But we do have the premium version, and it was gifted to everyone through the district, so you should not be blocked.
Okay, so I'm adding a new Google slide. And I'm trying the true false, and it says, is this statement true, right? True or false? Where do you put the question? Is that in the slide before, or what?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let me model that for you guys right now. Did you do that wait, let's see which one. You said you did it as a true and false?
Yeah, it was during the lesson. There's a true false choice.
That's interesting, because I'm trying to see where the option is on here. If you notice on my page, I'm like, where is that? Maybe it was under multiple choice, and then it allows you to do,
no, I was just like searching through stuff, and it says beginning, during, and end of lesson.
That one. Okay, yeah, the template library. This one here. Yeah. And text,
so
draggable text.
It was during, yeah.
It was during? Okay.
Yep. True, false right there.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Great question. So that is actually, if you notice on the bottom, see here, if you zoom in here, it says the multiple choice slide. So it's actually not true or false. So when it's set up, it's going to be whether A is true or B is false. Oops, sorry, there goes my timer. Statement is true or false. So this is what you edit. So if you pose the question like, I don't know, the sky is black, let's say, is your question. And then they would drag it to, yes, the sky is black, or false, it's not. So you pose the question up here at the top in this text box, and you can move this all around.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, great question.
Is there a way for us to see what the students would see on ours as like a student view?
Yeah, great question, Kelly. So in order for you to be able to see that, you have to actually open it up and start a Pear Deck. Then you would join it, and then that's how you would vet it out. That is one of the disadvantages. But so just basically what you did with me, how I started the Pear Deck, then I opened another tab and I joined it as if I was a student to experience that. So if you want me to model that for you, I can. Effort to make sure that we cover everything that we have planned for today. We're going to move on now. So going back to the original slide that I was sharing with you guys, I'm going to now show you guys, I kind of modeled it live, but just to make sure you guys know that these slides are there for you. You have the ability to start it by clicking add on and then start the lesson. And then you can choose if you want it to be student paced or instructor paced. Those are your two options. And then you provide your students with that link or with the code, and your students will go to joinpd.com. So if you want to take a few moments to practice actually starting a lesson, feel free to do that. But one of the other things that I really want to show you guys is the actual Pear Deck website. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link here into the chat, and it's peardeck.com. And I'm just going to quickly share with you guys what the website looks like. So this is the actual Pear Deck website, and you'll want to go ahead and do your login, your teacher login. And one of the things that you'll notice is when you do sign up and you log in, that we have crowns above our heads. And that reason is because we do have the premium version. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, you do have the opportunity to create a Pear Deck lesson directly from this website. If you did not want to go into your Google Slides, you can do that right here. There are lots of templates that are here. The great thing is too, down here at the bottom where it says learn and explore, every day there is new information posted here. So, feel free to take a look at that. Also notice that it's connected to my drive. So you'll see that these are some of the slides that are in my existing Google Drive. So if it's something that I had recently opened, it will appear here in the Pear Deck that will let you pull it from your drive if you did not want to start from the very beginning. So that's another great thing. Up here at the top, you have home, we have sessions, the content orchard, and then help. One thing I do want to point out very quickly is the sessions button. And when you click on this, it brings you to the page to where you've had existing Pear Deck sessions. And if you notice, it says that this one is currently live because I haven't closed it down. I didn't title it. And then but it tells me the name of the file that's inside of my Google Drive. I'm not going to dive deep into this because it's a little bit more involved, but I do have a next level beyond the basics training coming up. So if this is something that you're interested in diving deeper into learning, please don't hesitate to join me in that. But this is where you can go back and find information on previous Pear Decks that you had. You can reopen them, you can close them. So this is a really powerful place to go, I guess is the best way to say it. But see, I just clicked on this and this was the Pear Deck that we had done previously. So that is the website. I'll go ahead and give you guys a couple of minutes to dive into that and take a look and see there's interesting information here on the website, and then we'll go ahead and close up. And again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to unmute yourselves.
I saw somewhere when I was searching through, it said it's connected to News ELA. How would one see that?
What I was saying is that it's here in the content orchard. And so when you click on this right here, you can break it down by grade level, subject, and category. You can notice right here at the top which of these are News ELA right here. But if you scroll a little bit further down, teaching the news, there's a lot more to choose from. All right, does anyone have any questions? I know we covered quite a bit and we just really skimmed the surface of Pear Deck because it is such a powerful tool and it offers so much more. If you guys are interested in joining me, we do have the Pear Deck 201, and that is on the 21st of this month. So if you are interested in going a little bit beyond the basics, like I said, it's on the 21st. Here is the PD slide. You can go ahead and click on the QR code to sign up. And actually all of these are clickable links. So if there's any other PDs that you might be interested in, please feel free to take a look at those. This year we sort of created two different slides. This one is specific to elementary, but if you click on the next slide, this is specific to secondary. So depending upon what grade level you teach, here are different PD opportunities divvied up amongst those different levels. So as I mentioned before, when we take a look at Beyond the Basics, one of the other great things is the pop-up activities, learning how to leave feedback for your students when they engage with the slides. I'll show you guys how to add audio to the videos or to the slide decks. We'll dive deeper into the teacher dashboard. Student takeaways is another great thing because basically what it does is it becomes like basically notes for your students. And then finally, hands down, my favorite feature of Pear Deck is Immersive Reader. And I can't tell you how amazing this is. It is hands down my favorite thing. So if you are interested in diving deeper with me, please feel free to join me on the 21st. In the meantime, after you watch the video, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be more than willing to help you with anything.